Back to the 3-minute Devar. I know it's been a long time since I've done these. I started doing these when we were in lockdown and our shul was closed, and I thought if I wasn't giving the sermon in shul, at least I'd be able to send out some bite-sized ideas on the weekly portion. However, since we've reopened shul, I've been tied down with the sermon at shul and I've had less time to do this. But someone got in touch with me last week and they really pushed me, encouraged me to restart these, as they really say they benefited from it so much. So I know there's at least one person that really enjoys these. This is for you and anyone else who wants to watch as well. But thank you for inspiring me. You know who you are. Thank you. This week's portion is Chayei Sara, which translates as the life of Sarah. Interestingly, this week's portion, although it's called the life of Sarah, talks about the death of Sarah. It's when Sarah, our matriarch Sarah, passes away. Yet the Torah calls it the life of Sarah. And I think the first lesson number one to be learned from this week's portion, is that when righteous people pass away, as indeed Sarah was, they don't die. They continue to live. They continue to live on through the world which they touched, the world which they inspired, the world which they taught. And Sarah, with the incredible life that she lived, continues to live. And righteous people continue to live on in this world beyond the years which they breathe in this world. And that's really the lesson I think the Torah is really giving us when it calls it the life of Sarah. Number two, the Torah says Sarah died at the age of 127, but it doesn't say it like that. It says that she died at the age of 100 years and 20 years and 7 years. A strange way of writing that someone died at 127. And the rabbis say what the Torah means to say is that she was at 20 as beautiful as she was at 7, and she was at the age of 100 as innocent from transgression as she was at the age of 20. It was complimenting Sarah, saying how amazing she was. Rabbi Samson Raphael Hirsch asks, surely 7 is not the age of beauty. 20 is the age of beauty, and surely 20 is not the age of being free from transgression. 7 is the age of being free from transgression. So why do the rabbis seemingly see it this way round? And he explains that when it comes to beauty, beauty is not the external. Of course, the external is what we refer to as beauty, but real beauty from the Torah's perspective is the beauty of innocence, the beauty of the soul, the purity that's inside. And the 7-year-old, which is pure and good and innocent, that innocence will sort of spill over into the external, and that's the beauty which the Torah appreciates and admires, not the superficial beauty that we often think about. And secondly, being free from transgression, that is a 20-year-old, not a 7-year-old, because a 7-year-old has no choice. A 7-year-old doesn't have the challenges that a 20-year-old has. A 7-year-old can only be a certain way, doesn't have free will. Without free will, one can't be good. And therefore, true goodness is when one has challenges, when one has trials and tribulations and still chooses to act a certain way. That is true goodness, that is true righteousness, and that is the message which the Torah is trying to impart to each and every one of us. Wishing you a Shabbat Shalom. Thank you for joining.